What's going on, everybody? What's up? What's up? It's your guys Z Fly here again for another Wednesday where I keep it real hot and freaky fresh. That's right. You're keeping it raw and fresh with the best. I am your guys Z Fly, and you are now tuned into the blurry Fly World Media. But Fly World Media, there you go, in the corner is the platform. So hopefully everybody has had a great week, started the week so far. Hopefully you had a great weekend, a great start to your May. We're in May, everybody, and also a great Cinco de Mayo. Hopefully, nobody didn't drink too much this Cinco de Mayo. I didn't drink at all because if you remember, I'm still on my no liquor cleanse, which will actually end July 1st. I'm trying to do 6 months. So yeah, I'm still going at it. And like I said, I must say that within this 6 months, yeah, I don't really miss it. I don't miss it. I'm telling you, the trick, they have really done a lot to these mocktails. I mocktail it up a lot lately, and with the mocktails, it doesn't really make me miss the liquor. Really the liquor is just to kind of get you intoxicated, really, because the drink itself is like what you actually like. Mocktails consist of a lot of juices or sodas. So that's really, what you enjoy. In my opinion, the alcohol is just to kind of get you to another level. But if you're just looking for the taste, juices, sodas, ginger beers, yeah, they'll take care of that little taste hunger you may have. So once again, thank you everybody for tuning in to the show and joining me again for another Wednesday. If you watched my last show last week, you know that I was gearing up for a lot of different events that happened over the weekend. Woo! Let me tell you something. It is a blessing that I'm actually here because I said it was like 3 days back to back to back in a row. Started on Saturday, so Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Saturday started with the pre-Mother's Day what is it? Phenomenal Women's Expo. That was first. That was in Harlem. So that was, me out there raising awareness on the Lavender Project. So that was really great. It was a phenomenal women who are doing great things in business and wellness. They were out there, receiving their awards and everything. They even had a talent show with the kids. I had my Lavender table set up with my sponsor, Paradox 09322, and we actually did good. People came through. They listened to the message. They enjoyed the message. People, bought things. They donated. So Lavender had a really good day. It was a really good event. So that was in Harlem at the Alhambra Ballroom. And then on Sunday and Monday, I was hot in the mix. That's right, I was hot in the mix, being Z Fly on the red carpet for the HEBS event, which is Hair Education and Beauty Summit. There was in Secaucus, New Jersey. That was a 2-day event, and there was a lot going on. They had things from panelists, talking about hair, skin, and beauty. Educational rooms, where people were doing like live hairstyling and barber, cutting of hair right on the spot. They had a whole barber section on the stage. Now the barber section was like the place to be because they were like playing, club music and everything. The barbers, they had the competitions. It was a lot. It was a lot that went on. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of that later in the show. So definitely stay tuned to that. But before I do start the show, I want to just give a disclaimer because I actually had one thing. I love all of your comments, whether it's online, during the show, offline, wherever. I enjoy comments, so I actually did have an offline comment. And the offline comment was, saying about, a lot of the male awareness that you may see that happens in this show, with sexuality, me making people aware of what actually goes on out there. We see one thing, but is that what's really going on? Especially specifically when it comes to males, because a lot of times males, if they're a certain way, we just automatically think that they're this way, but if they're another way, we automatically think that it's that way. But there's so many blur lines when it comes to male sexuality that I'm serious. People would be very, very shocked. So yeah, I did have a comment who said, "Oh well, I understood that last year because I also do a show called Live at Five, and last year in June I did 4 weeks of what the LGBT won't tell you. So I was just showing different things that a lot of people don't even realize actually happens out there in society. And the person thought, last year when you did that, I thought that was enough, about that topic. Well, no, it's never enough. You want to know why? Because 4 little weeks of, revealing or just not even revealing, but bringing awareness to what happens in, male sexuality or just sexuality, period, is not enough. The person said that they felt a little uncomfortable. Well, guess what? Um, every segment on my show isn't going to be for everybody. There are other podcasters and radio talk shows who talk only sex on their podcast. There are people who talk only crime or gangsta or whatever. My show is very multifaceted, meaning that I talk about some of everything from celebrities to what's happening in your neighborhood to sexuality to money yeah. So if you get to a point on my show and it's not for you, that's why they have the invention called fast forward to go to something else. Because see, one also too, with my brand, my company, Forever Live Young Entertainment, we male awareness is one thing that I touch on. I have 4 awarenesses that I touch on. One is endometrial cancer. Another is twisted assumptions towards men, which is male awareness. Another is molestation of the youth and domestic violence. Now, with these awarenesses, it takes time to really build these awarenesses up. It would, like, for example, with Lavenda, they didn't just come overnight. It comes with a lot of different connections and research and blah, 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 blah. As you see now, I'm doing a lot of different things with Lavenda. Now that Lavenda is kind of, she done grew some legs and some arms. Now I'm ready to start touching on another awareness, which is male awareness, twisted assumptions towards men. So I'm going to continue to talk about that as long as it's one of the awarenesses that my company highlight. So, like, once again, if people don't like the truth, I don't know what to tell you, because they do say that the truth can either set you free or it can make you uncomfortable. That person said it's not, that they don't want to hear all this stuff, but men suffer in silence, sexually, mentally, and emotionally. And also too, with some of these topics, that's why I say, but I also appreciate that this person gave me their comment, because I also have other comments who thank me for bringing this stuff to the forefront, because they said, you know what, yeah, this stuff actually happens in real life, and so many people are not even aware. So I have mixed comments, and that's fine, because whenever you're doing TV, radio, whatever, you're going to have mixed comments. You also got to think, is it fair for women to be married to men who sleep with 1,500 plus men underneath the woman's nose? Is that fair to that woman? But we shouldn't talk about it, right? We just let it happen. Is it fair that so many effeminate men are burned at the stake while masculine men play in the mailbox unscathed? There's so many masculine men who do things with men, but because they're masculine and they fly under the radar, nobody says anything. But the effeminate men, oh, y'all burn y'all nail into the cross. Is that fair? And is it fair that so many men marry women because society says so, when they really might like men? So my thing is just bringing awareness to this. If you notice, it's not about outing nobody, pointing fingers at nobody. It's just making people aware of what men go through. That's why it's called twisted assumptions towards men. Because while you're assuming something about a man, it could be the opposite. And then the person over here you're assuming things about, it could be, so yeah. So in other words, I say all that to say that thank you for your comments. But yes, male awareness will keep happening on Flower World Media as long as it's one of our awarenesses. Also, too, I wanted to just say that, because if you remember last week, I did tell you that, for June, we're going to be on break. So there'll be no shows in June. So I said, starting today, I'm gonna, drop some trinkets here and there, bring them more awareness on what the LGBT organization won't tell you. So that'll be happening later in the show. So just to let y'all know, for those people who don't like to hear all this truth, now it'd be different if I was saying, what is it? Fiction? Fiction means fake, right? If I was saying fictional stuff, but I'm telling truth, but we don't want to hear it. Why? Because we've been taught this way all of our lives. So hearing something that goes against what we've been taught, it seems horrible, even if it's really happening in real life. I'm telling you, there are women out there who are dating and married to men who I just said, there, like I said, that lady, she was married to that man. He has slept with 1,500 plus men, and we shouldn't talk about this, and not shaming him. Well, but it's not so much as shaming him, but obviously he has a problem. See what I'm saying? Like when you start bringing awareness, set that man free. Obviously he doesn't want that woman. But anyway, so I'm not gonna get into all that, but that's just why I want to bring to the forefront for those people who feel like that other person who said, well, he talks about this so much. Okay, we got it the first time. But I don't know, did you get it the first time? Because it still happens in real life. So yeah, that's one of my awarenesses, and we're gonna keep it going. But right now, what we're gonna keep going is the first segment of the show is In the Know. Let's get into it.
Did you know? 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 Did you know?
Now, did you all know that one Kentucky Derby post has never seen a winner? That's right. Chunk of Gold hopes to change that. Now, to me, this story was very, very interesting because, the Kentucky Derby is big. Like I would actually love to go just to be in the height and the hoopla of it all. But so many people actually love to go every year to the Kentucky Derby. But anyway, in its story 151-year history, there is an infamous starting gate number that has never produced a Kentucky Derby winner. The gate numbers, known as post positions, are decided by a random drawing. Betting odds shift based on where horses start and how they respond to certain posts. According to covers.com, with the biggest swings often for number one, which hasn't seen a winner since 1986 in the outermost positions. Interesting. So basically, see how the horses are lined up. I guess when they take off, the people on the outermost or the outer end, I guess they're saying that they're a bit for a fraction or so further from the finish line. So they're hardly going to ever win because the inner ones are, I guess, like the way the track is, the inner ones are always closer. So while post position 5 has the best record with 10 winners, the most recent being Always Dreaming in 2017, post position 17 is the only one that has produced a single first place finish. Now, but could this be the years the curse ends? Sandman, ridden by highly regarded jockey Jose L. Ortiz, was initially assigned post position 17 with inevitable 5-1 odds, according to twinspire.com. Now, that changed, however, when two horses, Grande and Rodriguez, were scratched late in the week, moving Chunk of Gold at 30-1 into the 17th position, according to covers. Now, while gamblers might tend to shy away from the certain posts, not everyone is convinced that 17 is a burden its underwhelming record suggests. Now, horse racing handicapper Michael Dempsey told NBC that he would actually prefer the 17th post to some of the inner positions and suspects the miserable win-loss record is just statistical anomaly. I don't know. Now, he said, I don't know, really think the outside posts are a disadvantage, even though the statistics tell otherwise. Dempsey said, now, if I like a horse to win a race and then he drew that 17, 18, or 19 post, that wouldn't sway me. So, yeah, so it looks like those outer people on the end, like, the 17 posts, they're never winning. I mean, you ain't won in how many years? Since 1986. Yeah, so maybe it is something to it, but I would definitely love to go to the Kentucky Derby. I really would. I really would. And it's interesting because coming up, I do have a red carpet event, a polo event. Polo. The man on the horse or the people on the horse. With their hitting the ball. So that's coming up soon. So I don't know. I might need to try some new, spaces. So we'll see. All right, everybody. Next on the list is they say things are getting better in New York City, but guess what happened? A man was stabbed on the subway. Now, for some of y'all, that may be a regular day in New York, but it's always a sad time when it happens because a man was sent to the hospital after he was stabbed while on a D train in Greenwich Village. Pix 11 News had learned that some subway riders called 911. The other flagged police officers who were at the station, which is how they were able to reach the suspect, who was taken into custody. They say things are getting better, but every day there is something new, said one person, as he waited at the station. According to authorities, the stabbing, which happened at around 4:45 in the afternoon, came after a verbal dispute turned into a fight between the 46-year-old victim and the 40-year-old attacker. Now, do y'all hear these numbers? Okay, first off, let's go back to 4:45 p.m. I mean, they stabbing folks in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? And that's around the 5 o'clock traffic. They stabbing people. And then and now, did y'all hear the other numbers? 46 and 40 years old. Now, these ain't no teenagers. These ain't no 20-year-old. These are grown people getting in fights and stabbing. Now, just last week, a 38-year-old man on board a southbound number 5 train in lower Manhattan was fatally stabbed at getting into an argument with his assailant, who had apparently stepped on his shoes. Now, listen. Now, if y'all ever been in New York City on these subways or buses, you're going to step on somebody, you're going to elbow somebody, your bag is going to slap somebody. It's just a crowded city. And now you are stabbing people because they stepped on your shoes. And I mean, I bet you these shoes were Jordans because people go crazy over Jordans. I don't know what it's about Jordans, but people go insane. Commuters are telling us that the approach to the subway policing needs to change. I feel like the police is looking at the transit the wrong way. They are looking at the people who are jumping over, but they don't look at people that are like sleeping, bothering other people, said one person. And that is so true. Now, they are definitely trying to stop people from jumping over the turnstile. Well, they can't stop them all because they're jumping over the turnstile. I've seen people jump over the turnstile when the police is right there with their back turned. Because if y'all know anything about NYPD, they're gonna stay on their phone, scrolling Instagram and everything else, TikTok, and while you're doing crimes right under their nose. Now it's not clear what led to the argument between these two men during this Friday evening incident. The NYPD has not yet confirmed with Pix 11 News whether they knew each other. Pix 11 has learned that the victim was taken to Bellevue Hospital and is stable. Charges against his attacker are pending. So now this happened, I believe, last week, I believe. So if y'all want to know more, definitely tune into Pix 11 for any updates. But it's horrible. Now, speaking of horrible, it gets worse in this next story. Now, a North Carolina teacher allegedly caught kissing a kindergartner in the bathroom. Now, did y'all just hear that? And see, now y'all wonder why I bring awareness. Do y'all see what's happening? Now, a teacher is allegedly caught kissing a kindergarten in the bathroom. And I love how they say allegedly. It either happened or it didn't. Now, in Huntersville, police in North Carolina are investigating after a Blight elementary school teacher was allegedly caught kissing a 5-year-old student in the school's bathroom. The student mother told Nextstar's Queen Cities News a staff member saw the kiss and reported it to the school officials. Elizabeth Zumski's daughter is nonverbal with autism, and the mom knew something was wrong when her child started showing signs she didn't want to go to school. Now, what else has she endured, said the mom. Why has she been crying every day since she started this school? I knew something was wrong at the school, the mom said. The mom also said that she noticed behavioral differences in her daughter and went to school to figure out the problem, but administrators didn't have an answer. Ain't that something? They never do. They're probably looking after your kids, and the administrators are allegedly kissing your kids. A few days later, she got a call knowing her 5-year-old can't communicate. What might have happened hurts the most. She can't tell her side of the story. She said she'll never be able to. She can't defend herself. She can't speak up for herself. An incident report shows that the staff member was removed from the classroom, but not from the school. So far, no charges have been filed in the case. Zumsky wants someone held accountable. So this was in Charlotte Mecklenburg schools. Charlotte, the Queen City. Now the school leaders, they did release a statement. Here's what the statement of the school. We are aware of an alleged incident involving a staff member. Due to privacy laws, we are unable to share any details or information regarding the investigation. I want to assure you that we take safety and well-being of our students very seriously. We appreciate and understand your interest in this matter. Thank you for your continued support of Blight Elementary School. Now, everybody, I want you to understand this was an elementary school. And I want you to understand that this was a 5-year-old with autism. And this was a grown person. Now, if y'all notice in this article, they never said the sex of the teacher. They never said the gender. So, but whomever it was, it don't matter who the gender is. It's very disturbing. So that's what I'm saying. See, things like this is happening with the kids, with people, and we got to bring awareness to this stuff. Like I did a show a few months ago or weeks ago where I said, whenever you walk out in public, right? Everybody looks normal. You go into the store, people are just shopping, they're talking, they're buying. Everybody looks normal, but you don't know what kind of sickness they actually endure in their personal life. And this person right here, this teacher, goes to school, probably look normal to the students, look normal to the staff, look normal to the parents, and look how sick they are. So that's what I'm saying. So this awareness is very, very big. Last on the list is, if y'all remember last week, Newark Airport delays continued through the weekend. Yeah, Newark Airport was having an issue. Look at that. That lady is tired. I don't blame her though, because you know what I'm saying. Listen, the airport is already stressful, and then when you start having delays, you know what I'm saying. You're just sick of everybody. You're sick of TSA. You're sick of the security. They're looking at you real strange. They got dogs sniffing you. It is too much going on. So extensive delays continue for the third day at Newark Liberty International Airport on Saturday, according to the FAA's website. Now, travelers were warned to expect ground delays of up to an hour and a half on Saturday. Now, due to continued staffing issues at the airport, the website said. Now, sweeping ground delays and flight cancellations began Thursday due to staff shortages. Now, listen, these people, I don't know, the staff, they're not getting paid enough. They're tired, they're sick, they're mad, but they're leaving, and they are on strike probably, and it's delaying the flights. United Airlines began canceling 35 daily round trip flights this week or last weekend due to Newark Airport staffing issue. Isn't that crazy? 35 trips. Now, that's one that you do not want to be in the airport. United CEO Scott Kirby says existing staffing issues at the airport were after 20% of FAA's controllers walked off the job. Now, he said, keep in mind, this particular air traffic control facility has been chronically understaffed for years, and without these controllers, it's now clear. And the FAA tells us that Newark Airport cannot handle the number of planes that are scheduled to operate there in weeks and months ahead. So I don't know. So everybody, something tell me that it's still going on. Like I said, log into pix11.com for updated news. But I'm pretty sure it's still going on. And because this man just said that scheduled to operate there in weeks and months ahead. So y'all better come on to JFK and LaGuardia if y'all trying to go somewhere, because Newark is messed up. And you are now in the know. All right, everybody. So now, if you are aware, We are rolling up. This season 8 is coming to an end. 2 more episodes, but before we do, listen, we definitely still want to, to help you out with any sponsorship that you may have. Because listen, even though season 8 is ending, the show ain't ending, so we'll be back during the summer. And you know what I'm saying? Who knows? Maybe during the summer we can have you with some great sponsorship. So check out this video on how we can help you with that sponsorship. Check this out. Hey everybody, it's your guy Z Fly from Fly World Media, and I have an exciting opportunity just for you. Now, are you looking for a powerful way to promote yourself, your business, or your product? Do you want to get your brand in front of a fresh, engaged audience that's ready to support and take action? Then look no further. Here at Fly World Media, we offer an array of affordable and highly beneficial sponsorship packages designed to give your brand the exposure, visibility, and impact it deserves. Now, whether you're a business owner, entrepreneur, artist, or product creator, we have a package that fits your needs and budget. From on-air mentions and digital promotions to exclusive ads placements, we make sure your brand gets the attention it deserves. So what are you waiting for? Let's get your brand noticed today. Now, to apply for a sponsorship package, email us at sponsorship@flyentertainment.media, and let's make magic happen together. Fly World Media, where your brand takes flight. All right, everybody, back to Fly World Media. Guess what? Now it's time to have some fun. So once again, if you are now just joining the show, if you remember this past weekend, I had a little fun. You know what I'm saying? My first stop was Saturday. I went to a pre-Mother's Day phenomenal women's expo. It was basically about highlighting women in business and wellness, so that was really, really fun. The Lavender Project, I went there with the Lavender Project, people really loved it, had a great time. But then also Sunday and Monday, I went to this event called HEBS, Hair Education Beauty Summit, where, like I said before in the beginning of the show, it was all about, just showcasing, the greatness of beauty and hair care and skin care. There was different panels, a live hairstyling, barbers, educational classes. There was a lot going on. So I want to share that with you. So first I'm gonna start with HEBS. I'm gonna show you a little bit about my HEBS experience. So check out this video of what's to come later with Flower Media. Check this out. All white affair, you guys see flies in all white. Okay, so yeah, I know I said I was going to show you HEBS. So yeah, we actually kind of had a switcheroo, but actually, so that was the Phenomenal Women's Expo. So yeah, so that was the Phenomenal Women's Expo. As you see, I was dressed in all white. It was a white affair, and it was a really great time. And, y'all probably saw the Lavender table. And you know what? I got to give myself some credit. I got to brush my shirt off a little bit because whenever y'all see these tables, that'd be my setup. So that table looked really, really good and really, really professional. So yeah, so that was the Phenomenal Women's Expo. It was at the Alhambra Ballroom in Harlem. And yeah, we had a really great time. I had people come out, friends come out. It was a really great time. There was highlighting you might have saw all the women marching. There was highlighting those women. Some of them won awards. Excuse me. And I just made a lot of great connections. There was another vendor there who does like women's health. So, you know, we're thinking about collaboration. So yeah, it was a lot of great things that came out of that. I really, really enjoyed it. I look forward to coming back again. You know, the owner, she does another cancer something, and I think it's breast cancer in October. And she was like, "Oh my God, you know, you got to come." Even though you know my project is about uterine cancer, but still it's cancer, and it's about it's dealing with a woman. So she definitely want me to come out. So who knows? I might be back there in October. All right, so that was me with the Lavender project, but now I'm going to show you Z-Fly Hot in the Mix. That's right, I was hot in the mix, like I said, in Secaucus, New Jersey, with the Hebs event. So check out this video, and I had a lot of great fun. So check it out. Hey everybody, it's your guy Z-Fly. That's right, I'm here again for another Hot in the Mix episode. That's right, Fly World Media is right here in your face. And guess what? Right now, I'm in Secaucus, New Jersey. That's right. I don't went across the river again. I am still hot in the mix right here at Hills. That's right, in New Jersey. Now listen. I know you all may be confused. We're not in Miami. We're in New Jersey. But right now, I do have.
We're all having to figure out how someone else can see us and say that we belong.
Don't go anywhere, because so much is to come right now. Yes, so much more is definitely to come. So what I'm going to do is, I do have full interviews coming up. I mean, it was a 2-day event, so a lot of different interviews coming up with hairstyles, with celebrities, with barbers, with nail manicurists, with spas. People who own spa, just a lot of people. So all that's coming up. It'll be coming up to my YouTube soon. But what I'm going to do is, but for the rest of the month, like I said, we only got 2 more episodes. So I will be, dropping teasers for the next 2 episodes before I start to, present the actual interview. So yeah, so be sure to check it out. If you want to see a little bit more of the Hebs event, then be sure to tune in next week, because I'll be showing you another teaser next week. All right, so that was my weekend. But right now, let's get into the cringe of the day. Hit it. Oh God, here we go.
Oh my God. 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 Oh my.
All right, so this is definitely an oh my God moment. Now, like I was telling you, so once again, we're not going to be the show is going to be on break in June. And if y'all know, June, for those who celebrate it, is Pride Month. Yes, it's Pride Month in June. So last year on my weekly show, Live at 5, I did in the month of June. I did a series called "What the LGBT Won't Tell You." Now, we see what they tell us in media. You open up the magazine, turn on the TV, search the web, social media. We see what they're telling us. But I'm here to tell you something that they won't tell you. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing now. So like I said, the whole show isn't going to be about that, but I do have a little portion that I want to just highlight that, since I won't be here in June. So now let's look at what the LGBT, how they won't educate people, parents, about children liking the same sex. I mean, let's look at what the result can be when a parent just don't understand why their child is a homosexual. Check this out.
I'm gay.
I'm trying to make something out of myself. I want to get out of this town and be somebody.
Oh, so I'm a nobody because I never left? You don't know what it's like to be a man? To struggle?
I want him out of my house!
How could you betray me this way?
Yeah. Okay. So this is the cringe of the day. The reason why this is so cringy is because, for one thing, as we see in this video, there is a huge lack of understanding. You know, obviously those parents, they're from a certain time period in time where, you know, they have different traditions and religious beliefs and just societal beliefs. And they don't, you know, and to hear their son say that he's gay, oh, that's just unacceptable. As y'all see, they're slapping him, they're throwing him out of the house, they're disowning him. And you know what? And the sad thing about it is because that has been happening so much in history. Like, you know, if you could go back and listen to people's stories. I'm telling you, go back and listen to people's stories. Just ask people who may be the LGBT or homosexual or whatever, and let's listen to their stories of how they'll tell you that their parents disowned them, the church disowned them, they got thrown to the streets. So it's better for your child to get thrown to the streets to really swallow them than for you to understand, like, what do you mean you like the same sex? Like, let's understand this. You know, and it's very interesting, isn't it? Because it's almost like they're no longer their child. Like, for the parent, that they're no longer their child. I have seen parents accept and forgive their children for raping people, for killing people, for stealing, for knocking down old people. They'll forgive them for that stuff. But look how the guy say he's gay and he's disowned him. I want you out of my house. It's something really kryptonite about being gay or homosexual. So it's really, really sad to see. As you say, you know, the thing that a lot of parents from a different time period, or even today, the results is to beat them, to pray about it, or to put them in some hypnotherapy. And, you know, and I would love to interview some of those people who went through hypnotherapy and ask them how they're feeling today. And I would love to ask those people who to pray the gay away, how are they feeling today? You know, so people have been trying to pray the gay away and go through hypnotherapy, but a lot of these people are still liking the same sex. So what does that tell you? Okay. And then also too, look how the parents make it about themselves. The lady, I think the mom said, or maybe the dad did too, like, oh, you're not gonna embarrass us. So instead of them loving their child unconditionally, they're worried about how it makes them look in society, how it makes them look to the rest of the family or to their friends and whomever. They don't care about how their child is feeling. And that's why I say that, and that's why I bring this awareness. I know a lot of people who have a lot of children, and see, a lot of times, you know, people think that, oh, I got these sons or I got these daughters, and they're going to grow up to be all this stuff. You see all the stuff that, like, parents already put on children before they only been out of the womb maybe less than an hour, and they already are going to be a ball player, or they're going to follow in my footsteps and all this stuff. And then when they don't follow in your footsteps, you're slapping them, disowning them, throwing them out of the house, and beating them with a belt. And that's unconditional love. Yeah. He was the father of the year. Yeah, is he the father of the year? Wow. I mean, you know, I would have loved this thing if the guy said, oh, well, I got accused of raping 3 girls on the cheerleader squad. He probably would have given him a high five. I mean, it's not funny. You know, it's not funny. You know, there was actually a story like that where a son, he did, I don't know if he raped the girl, but he was sexually harassing the girl and the girl told the guy, the son was on the soccer team. So when the girl told, the dad of the son told the school board, well, look, you know, my son, he's on the school board. We can't let this ruin his reputation. See what I mean? They didn't care about her. Anyway, okay, so that was the cringe of the day. Now, we're going to go to a pause and pour of the day. Now, this is also still dealing with what the LGBT won't tell you. Look how the word gay and homosexual and all this LGBT weirdness. Look what it does to some men. Like some men don't even want to be clean. And watch what I mean. Check this out.
Have you heard that some men don't wash their bottom for fear of being called gay? One of you wrote in my comments on one of my hygiene videos saying that there are some men who don't wash their bottoms out of fear for being called gay. And we really need to talk about this. First of all, association of gayness and washing your bottom is not only wrong, it's inappropriate. It feels homophobic, discriminatory. It's wrong. That is not appropriate. I mean, do people say that when they wash their front, that they're worried about the same thing? I don't think so. And by the way, when I talk about wash, I'm not talking about water just going down your bottom or soap from your shampoo going down I'm talking about a towel, a washcloth, a wash rag with soap and water washing your bottom. Spreading the cheeks and washing. The idea of cleaning your bottom is about hygiene. It's about cleanliness. Remember, if we don't clean our bottoms, this is both men and women, guys, we can get yeast, bacteria, infections. You can get irritated hemorrhoids, itchiness, all sorts of things. This is really important for your health, for your hygiene. Not only that, for respect of yourself and respect of your partner. So this idea that if you are a man out there, by the way, and again, I'm just basing this on some of the articles when I Googled it, some of the TikToks I saw, if you're a man out there who doesn't wash their bottom, you should.
Okay, and this over here is a pause and a pour. So we're going to pause. We got to just take in what we just heard. Oh, so pause. Okay, now we're going to pour. And I'm pouring water, so I'm going to pour it down my throat. I don't have a cup, so I poured it down my throat. All right, let's dissect this. Do y'all see what I'm saying? I'm telling you, this stuff is crazy. And, that is so true. There are so many, I'm pretty sure there's so many men out there who, isn't that wow, just the smell of it all. Ooh, who don't wash their bottom because they feel like that's gay. See, this is what I'm saying. This is how it starts to go down the rabbit hole. That now you don't even do daily cleansing. You don't even do, your hygienic things because oh no, I'm a man. I don't wash my butt. Nothing's going back there. Why do I need to wash it? Why do you need to wash it? Is that a real question? Why do you wash under your arms or your toes or anything? Like, it's just ridiculous. But some of y'all probably think that's crazy. Now, mind you, that wasn't me talking. That was a whole nother podcaster. And see, she's reporting on this stuff. So keep in mind. So y'all be like, oh, Z-Fly. No, I'm showing y'all what's out there. That's another podcaster who said, I think somebody told her or she found out about it. It's ridiculous. Now, also, too, I did want to say that this also comes, men had just been stumped from our authenticity. It comes with fashion. There's some men who don't want to be fashionable because they feel like, being fashionable is for girls. Even though, but the fashion thing is kind of got a crack in it because so many masculine guys and guys who are accepted and respected, they have been taken, was a fashion, what do you call it? Fashion, not fashion trends, but pushing the limit, basically. Like Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's one. Who else? If y'all watch wrestling, Seth Rollins, he wears a lot of flamboyant stuff. And Kanye West did it once upon a time. So yes, so some men are starting to get more fashionable because they're seeing men that they respect do it. But other things too, like eating bananas or eggplants. You can't eat bananas no more. A lot of men, you can't eat like a lollipop. Silly stuff. I know someone who has a business, and she was trying to get a description for one of her products. She wanted to use the word zesty, but then she said, "Oh, but zesty kind of means something else now." See what I mean? Zesty, before all this stuff, it used to mean like something was like spicy or something, but now she was afraid to use zesty on one of her products because of the other meaning zesty has right now. Also, too, I heard a documentary one time that in another country that whenever it comes to the gym, a lot of the men, they don't do squats because how squats, it starts to, after a while build and enhance your glutes. Well, a lot of men, they feel like, well, I don't need a round bottom. So, that's why do I need a round bottom or nice glutes as a man? They feel like that's something gay. So they don't do any squats. And to top it off, over the weekend, I was getting some people to do radio drops for me, right? I was getting some people to do radio drops for me. And there was one particular male who I wanted to do a radio drop. And, for those of y'all who don't know what a radio drop is, it's like whenever the person, they might say something like, hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Tim. I'm rocking with Z-Fly. I'm keeping it real hot and fresh on Fly World Media. That's a radio drop. You probably hear that a lot of times celebrities do it on air radio shows, things like that. So I wanted him to do a radio drop for me. So whenever he got to keeping it real hot and fresh, he kept saying it sounded. I'm trying to think. He didn't use the word zesty, but in other words, it didn't sound manly enough to him. Keeping it real hot and fresh did not sound manly. So he kept saying, oh, it just sounds so weird. I don't know if I can do that. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, okay. So then so I said, well, fine. Just say you're rocking with Z-Fly on Fly World Media. I don't know. But see what I mean? This stuff has gotten men to just not even do things it's just ridiculous. Okay. And then last, we're going to go to a lamb. I have a lamb for you as well. Life as a male. Hit it.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass.
Okay, so now in this lamb, Life as a Male, there's a reporter, and he asked a man, or he has two guys, what do they feel is always on a man's mind, or something like that. Anyway. Let's see what the answer is. Check this out.
What is something all men fantasize about?
You'll answer this one.
Other men. Did you say other men?
Other men.
Other men.
Only men.
Did you boys hear that? Do you understand the question?
What I fantasize? Yeah.
What men fantasize about?
Yeah.
Other men.
Make me look weird.
Amputees, mate.
Okay. Now, for one thing, I want you all to notice the type. Okay, notice the type of those guys. Those would be the guys that would be accepted, right? Respected in society. Just looking average, a regular guy, nothing flamboyant, no heels on, no makeup, no all this stuff. Just regular guys. And these the regular guy said that his answer to the question, what do all men fantasize about? And he said other men. See? So that's what I'm saying. Nobody wants to talk about this stuff, but it sounded like they kind of had an accent, so they might have been in another part of the world, maybe. But yes, it's very interesting. So and also too, I recently heard this podcast where it was saying that women put on makeup for other women. They were saying how like women put on other makeup for other women. It's not even for men. And a lot of times people say men put on muscles for other men. So it's kind of a reality thing that like each sex is doing things for the same sex. Like a lot of things that women do, like as far as beauty and skin, is it really for a man? I mean, it could be. Some men do like their women nice and looking nice, but they also could be doing it to keep it with other women. And I definitely feel that these men that go into the gym with all these muscles and living in the gym, is that really for a woman? Let me tell you something. I was thinking about this topic, and I was thinking about the females in my family on both sides, my mom and my dad's side. A lot of females, they're the ones who are married or boyfriends. Their husbands and boyfriends, they don't look like some Adonis, some muscular Arnold Schwarzenegger, so however you say his name. They don't look like him. They're just regular guys. And I heard a lot of women who say that they prefer just a regular guy. A lot of women don't care for the muscles. So a lot of women are intimidated by the muscles. So if a lot of women are intimidated or don't care for muscles, then who are the men putting these muscles on for? Huh? Okay. Well, anyway, like I said, like y'all said, I talk about this too much, so we're gonna move on. Okay, everybody. So that was your lamb for today. Right now, we're gonna get into a break. So check out this break. And when we come back, when we come back, we're going to get to real talk. So this time, today's real talk, I'm talking about, whenever you stay to yourself, don't it sound like that's when people really want to bother you? You know what I'm saying? You just try to be your own person, be private, just mind your own business, but everybody want to be in your business. And I'll also talk about those trigger words whenever you're in a relationship, things that like, your spouse or your significant other may say that may trigger things in you. All that's coming up and more after the break. Don't go anywhere because you are keeping it real hot and fresh.
Searching for the answer. Tear myself down with all I find. Still purpose circles like a dancer. But in my mind, my spirit is with the breeze. Far from the things I used to know. Why I'm free. Using that truth to let go. Serenity rests in me. Far from the things I used to know. I found the strength to let it
Here I go. All right, everybody. It's the mic. You know how it is. All right. You are keeping it real hot and fresh, and right now it is time for real talk. So let's hit it. Okay, so now let's get into the real talk of it all, people. All right, so today's first topic, we're going to be discussing, whenever you stay to yourself and don't bother anyone, why does that seem to bother people? You know what I'm saying? Now, now this right here is definitely for me because, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I try my best, stay to myself, don't mind, don't bother nobody. But people they just always want to be in my business. So I don't understand why that bothers so many people. So whenever you say to yourself and don't bother people. But let's talk about it, shall we? So now some things I think what it could be a multitude of a lot of things, but one thing it could be people fear what they don't understand. So it's like if you're always standoffish, you're not just telling all your business and revealing all this and that and the third. People are like, okay, well, I want to know more about this person, but they don't ever say anything. So it's like now people got to try to do things to kind of, get information out of you. So, so basically people fear what they don't understand. When you're quiet or private, others often project their own insecurities or assumptions onto you. Your peace can make others uncomfortable if they rely on external validation or attention. And that is so true. I have seen this so many times where people just be bothering people. And they're not. I mean, it's like leave the person alone. Like, you know what I'm saying? They just mind their own business. Like, why are you so pressed? You know what I'm saying, to get a reaction? And I said, why did I say that? See, I be telling myself I'm not going to talk about people, but then people they're good content. Okay, y'all know my favorite line. I know somebody. Yeah, when I said that, I know somebody who this person kind of stays to themselves as well. They do. They don't get mad as much. They don't show much emotion, and they have a significant other, and that burns their significant other up. Oh yeah, tears them to pieces, because the significant other wants, the person who's like very chill to show emotion. So what they'll do is they'll try to do things and henpeck or whatever, to like get a reaction out of them. And if they don't, they go crazy. They get mad. And it's just sad that like a lot of people don't like a person who's chill, who's private, who's mind their own business. They kind of want you to, you know what I'm saying, to be in some mess per se. Also too, misinterpreting independence as arrogance or rejection. Now, some people equate solitude with being standoffish or thinking you're better. Now, your desire for space can be misread as rejection or judgment. That is so true. That is so true. Because, you know what I'm saying, some people might be like, oh, well, they think that they're better than us, or, oh, what, we're not good enough for them to hang around, But no, it might not even be that. It's just that sometimes people just want to just be independent and be on their own. They don't want to be around you. And then maybe you could be very dramatic. So maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody don't have time for all this drama all the time. See, people think that like, because due to all these reality shows and things like that, with all this drama, that everybody just want to be in the mess. There are still those people who wants to be out of the mess and away from the mess. Also, society promotes constant connection. Yep, in a world driven by oversharing and social media, choosing to disconnect or keep to yourself disrupts the norm. It challenges people's need for constant validation or inclusion. But that ain't the truth. Social media is horrible for this. Always needing validation. A lot of times, and you know what? I'm gonna have a topic about this too, like in the next probably on the 21st. I'm gonna talk more about this validation and social media, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, but people, they always want to they get online, they post all these pictures, then they sit and wait. Okay, who gonna like? Okay, who gonna comment? Okay, who gonna share it? That stuff will drive you crazy. And that's why a lot of people are the way they are. They are just so into themselves. And so it's like, if you're not being like that, they think something's wrong with you. Also, some people feel threatened by self-sufficiency. That's right. When you don't need constant companionship, approval, or social noise, it can highlight what others may lack internally. Once again, this whole topic is talking to me, because trust me, whenever I'm whenever these cameras or whether this computer shut down and I'm no longer Z-Fly, yeah. Listen, I don't need all that stuff. I don't need nobody's approval. I don't need no constant companionship. I don't need no social noise. I just need peace. And I know a wise woman, and she's told me one time, she said, don't ever let nobody break your peace. And I try my best not to, because if you do, you'll be like everybody else, just miserable. And speaking of miserable, misery loves company. That's right. Some people simply don't want to see others at peace when they themselves are unsettled. Now listen, did I just say that? I'll tell you, that's why so many people, they can't stand me. Oh, well, look at him. Oh, he seems unbothered. Oh, why are you so happy? Yeah. So I sure had, like, sometimes I'll be happy, and to know me and like my staff, they probably can protest to this. Like, I'm always thanking people. I'm always thanking, because for one thing, let me say something. I have seen people where they just don't want to do stuff, or I have seen other people who have employees or staff and they don't do no work. So I always want people to know that I am very thankful. For example, look at Newark Airport. Okay, they didn't thank their staff enough. because now they are getting out of there. So yeah, I try my best to be happy and to be thankful, but people don't like that. Oh, he's too happy. Oh, he's too thankful. They don't like that. They want you to be mean and mad, walking around the streets of New York like everybody else. Now I can do that. Now don't get me wrong, sister. Y'all put me on the streets of New York, then yeah, I do kind of frown a little bit. I'm frowning, I'm mean mugging. But that's not who I am. It's just that, New York just bring it out of you because people get in your way, they look at you crazy, they stepping on your shoes. But anyway, but some people, they simply, and then also your calm energy reminds them of what they haven't yet achieved emotionally. Isn't that something? Look at this girl. People say, be yourself. Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what? The people in the back, yes. People always say be yourself, but oh my God. See, now there needs to be a topic in itself. Don't you hate that? That is, wow. Wow. People say be yourself, but then they judge you for being you. And that's why we have right now so many unauthentic people, men and women. Because once a person is themselves, look at them. They turn their nose up. So that's why I don't like that saying. I mean, I like the saying; it's a good saying, but I don't like it because it's like society doesn't really mean it. Because as soon as a person are themselves, you talk about them. You throw them to the wolves. You put rumors on them. You talk about them on social media. You don't like people who are really you. If you look at a lot of these celebrities, these reality shows, that people are not themselves. They're always trying to be all this clickbait and all these influencers and public figures and all this stuff. They're trying to keep up with what they think is the norm, but they're not their real authentic selves. So yeah, so anyway, let me know what you all think about this topic in the comments, please. I would definitely love to know what you all think. So yeah, let me know what is going on. Let me know what you think in the comments about this topic, okay? All right, so we're going to move on to the next topic, which is trigger words in relationships. Now, how can people deal with them? Now, listen, there's a lot of people who are in relationships, and not even just relationships as far as romantic, but friendships, companionships, relationships as far as family, anyone who, you may have a relationship with as far as like that. You can have some trigger words that just set these people off. Well, let's talk about it. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I don't know what that was. It couldn't have been the water. But anyway, now, first of all, let's figure out what are trigger words. Trigger words are specific words or phrases that spark emotional reactions due to past trauma, unresolved issues, or previous relationship patterns. Recognizing them is the first step towards healing. I know that's right. There are trigger words could be something like, like let's say there's a couple, right? And maybe the woman don't like when her man says something like whatever. Like whatever could be a trigger word because see, whatever, maybe in the past, that woman, she was always dismissed by family, friends, or whoever who didn't want to hear what she had to say. So they said whatever. And so like something as simple as whatever can be a trigger word. Another trigger word can be, it is what it is. I actually hate that too now. That's a pet peeve for me. I hate when people say, oh, it is what it is. Because it's like, to me, that's just like you're not really trying to really work out whatever the issue is. You just don't care. You just don't care. It's just like, you just let it be what it be instead of really trying to get to a conclusion or a resolution. Communication is key. Couples need to identify and discuss their personal triggers early on, create a safe space to talk about why certain words cause a reaction. Also, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. And that's big. That's right. The tone and timing can turn a harmless phrase into a damaging one. Be mindful, not just the word, but how when it's delivered. Now, I know someone, here we go. That's my favorite word, right? My favorite phrase. I know someone who this person, the way that they say things, it just isn't friendly. I told this person many times, it doesn't sound friendly, but they claim up and down that's not how they meant it. Now, that could be true. maybe maybe they didn't mean the way it sound, but the way it sound is just so unfriendly. So people got to really think about how their tone sounds. And then also too, with not social media, but texting, how many times, you could send something through text, but a person don't know how your tone sound, so they can read it a certain way. Look at this. The one that angers you controls you. Don't give anyone that power, especially the one who does it intentionally. That is so true. There are some evil people out there who want to see you get mad. Like they know your trigger word, and that's why I hate it when our people know your weaknesses, because then they'll use it against you. Some people will. They'll use it against you because that's why a lot of people say, don't let them see you sweat. Don't let them know your weaknesses, because some people out there will actually intentionally use it on you. Something else is also self-reflection and accountability. Ask yourself, why does this word trigger me? Triggers often connect to wounds we haven't dealt with. Managing them is not just your partner's responsibility, it's yours too. So those of you all who, what I'm saying, like maybe like those people who have those small words, or like maybe small things trigger you, you gotta ask yourself why. Like I said, maybe in the past, people could have dismissed you, or they could have teased you about it, or whatever it could be. But you got to ask yourself, why are these words triggering me? Okay. Now, ways to kind of help with that is to establish boundaries with compassion. Partners can agree to avoid certain phrases or use replacement language when discussing sensitive topics. Respecting each other's triggers builds trust. Control your anger because it's only one letter away from danger. Oh, I like that. And then I'll tell you one thing. If y'all listen to some of my past shows, it sure is one letter away from danger. Because some of these people that I told you, especially around the Valentine shows, oh yeah, the spouses and exes, they were killing the people. Yeah, they was killing. It ain't funny, but it was killing the people. Sure, they was shooting them. A couple episodes ago, one lady, she locked her either her husband or her ex up in a storage unit and left him to die. So see, control your anger because it's only one letter away from danger. Yes, sir. Okay, now whenever you hear like people are killing and locking people in storages, then guess what? Therapy can help. Yes, right. Let's talk about it. Now, sometimes working through triggers requires professional support, especially if the emotional response is rooted in deep trauma. Yeah, people got it real bad. Yeah. Sometimes you're walking around people, you're sitting around people, and you just don't know what's on their mind. They are thinking about what he said, what she said, what he did, how she did it. And this stuff could have happened 20 years ago, but they haven't let it go. So therapy is definitely needed. The key to having power over your triggers is to first recognize they are in fact triggers, not truth. Oh, wow. Okay. So a lot of times people can think that their triggers are the truth. I think that's what it's saying. But you need to, realize that, you need to have power over your triggers to first recognize that they are in fact triggers and not truth. Now, and then last, know the difference between sensitivity and control. Now, there's a line between someone being mindful of your emotional triggers and someone feeling like they're constantly walking on eggshells. Balance is key. And, I like this show. Now, some people, they don't want to say the show because it sounds too whatever, keeping it real hot and fresh. But that's exactly what I do on this show, because if that wasn't the truth, that just said, what it say, there's a line between someone's being mindful of your emotional triggers and someone feeling like they're constantly walking on eggshells. You know what? That is so true. Now, it's one thing to have triggers. See, like how this thing say, recognize they are in fact triggers, but it's another thing that like everything someone say to you, you react to it. It's a trigger. And now here they go, walking on eggshells. And who wants to be with anybody like that? They feel like, I can't say this, I can't say that, I can't do this, because if I do, it's going to set them off. And next thing they know, they might find themselves in a storage room. So, yeah. So balance is key, everybody. All right, in the private chat, not in the private chat, but on the social media, let me know what your let me know your thoughts on this. You see, now these are the different faces. Now, see, this right here is emotional unbalance. Okay, this is an unbalanced person. This is an unbalanced person right here. Look, they're happy, they're sad, they're angry, they're confused, they're disgusted, embarrassed, they're jealous, they're scared, and then at the end they love you. Woo, I'm telling you. I'll tell you, but you know what? People go through this stuff. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. Because people actually, I mean, you know, they start off happy. They go through all these different emotions. And by the end of the day, they tell me, I love you, you know? And you're looking at them like, yeah, that's what I say. Therapy hopefully can help. And look at the jealous one. You know, the jealous of you. You know, they're supposed to be your. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to be your equal, your significant other, but they jealous of you. They're confused. Then they get disgusted. And then after they do all this stuff, they have nerve to be embarrassed. They should be embarrassed. All right. Anyway. All right. Enough of that, y'all. I'm gonna take a quick music break. And then we're gonna get into some drunk off the juice. We gotta start winding this show down, people. But hopefully this topic has helped somebody. I know one thing, it helped me. But let's take this quick this quick break. We'll be right back. You're keeping it real hot and fresh with the best. Don't go anywhere. More to come. Drink off the juice after the break.
As I walk along the beach, still feeling incomplete. My days have gone past me, leaving me behind with memories of regret and pain I can't forget. For now, this is my day. Although I never fulfilled those dreams, my number has come up. The ship is on the way, and I must get aboard. The air has never felt lighter than today, and the sand feels cooler each step that I take. As the seagull passed me by, he turned and smiled at me. As he led me down the path, all the faces of those who ever loved me slowly appeared in the sky. Their tears started to roll down their cheeks, falling into my skin, softening my soul, allowing the sun to seep in. It melted away my clothes. It melted away my sins and all the burdens I had within. I was now ready to end in the same essence I began, pure and free. The ship's horn was faint as it slowly approached, preparing to dock. I joined the line of spirits while others gathered behind me by the numbers. Today is a glorious day that we will share. Our Father opened the door and the beautiful light shined through. He took us in and hugged us one by one. When I reached the door, the seagull shed one tear and flew away. When he touched my hand, the switch of life flashed and then faded to darkness. And I took my last breath.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hopefully, you all enjoyed that spoken word by our very own radio director, Jennifer Bonaparte. That's right, she's giving it to us real hot and fresh with the spoken word. Also, too, I do want to go back and thank at the beginning, or not the beginning, but I want to shout out to my social media supervisor for putting the video together for the Women's Expo, and also want to shout out my cameraman ALG Productions for putting together the video for Heb. So thank you all for your contribution. All right, but right now we're going to get into Drunk Off the Juice. Let's get into it. All right, everybody. So now you all know that actor Orlando Brown, he's been in the news, the radio, the social media, so everywhere, with like all these allegations on like all these stars, also going back to what I be talking about. But yeah, saying how like a lot of different males have done things to him or been with him sexually or whatever. But however, Bow Wow, rapper Bow Wow, he breaks his silence on Orlando Brown's wild 2022 relationship claims. That's right. Bow Wow is finally clearing the air after Orlando made some out-of-pocket claims about them being in a romantic relationship. The allegations came from a now viral 2022 video that showed Orlando dropping the supposed tea. Now, Bow Wow is stepping up and setting the record straight on the rumors. Bow Wow recently hit the club Shay Shay for a one-on-one chat with Shannon Sharp. While they were chopping it up, Shannon brought up Orlando's accusations of being involved with Bow. Now, Bow Wow immediately busted out laughing and shut down the remarks, saying, "Yo, I ain't gonna lie, that dude is hilarious." Additionally, Bow, aka Shad Moss, he said if anybody actually believes him, they are crazy as HELL. So Moss kept it on real, admitting that Orlando Brown always comes crazy, but he still gave him props for being smart and knowing exactly what he's doing. He also said Orlando isn't a fool either. He said, "I always thought he was talented. Yes, he has troubles. But I ain't even going to get into that. That's his personal business. That's his life. But outside of that, I always thought he was talented." He said. Now, the rapper also mentioned that he thinks somebody needs to give Orlando a real job where he can be himself. Since all of these people put him on their platforms for clickbait, somebody needs to put the boy on TV and give him a real job. Furthermore, Moss made it clear that he has no beef with Orlando Brown as long as he's not messing with his money or speaking on his kids. As long as you ain't playing with my money, you ain't playing with my kids, I ain't tripping. It's clowning to me. We laugh at stuff like that. So so Bow Wow, he brushed it off, and what I'm saying. Now listen, I don't know what's true, what ain't, but I'm not saying that Bow Wow was in a relationship with Orlando. But what I am saying is that a lot of times people who seem very scatterbrained, we just want to write them off as they're crazy, or he just talking crazy. Now, maybe some things, maybe he is a little scattered here and there, but I just don't believe that everything, that he has been saying, not about Bow Wow, but I'm just saying, he said a lot of things about other rappers and actors as well. And I just don't think that everything he's saying is crazy, because let me tell you something, if you look at a lot of these, and here I go again with those documentaries, you start to see that entertainment world has a lot of dark secrets. What we see on TV, all that, what we call straight wash, where everybody just sees so heterosexual. Well, that ain't really the case. So, Orlando, along with many other people in the past, has, said, things about male on male action, or how, look at the Diddy stuff. Look what's coming out with the Diddy stuff. And I believe it was me that commented on Kanye. Was it me that commented on Kanye West? No, I don't think it was me. I don't know. Anyway, but also Kanye West recently said something about how at 13, or maybe it was me, at 13 or 14, he messed with his cousins, all kinds of stuff. So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying that Bow Wow and Orlando had a relationship, but I'm just saying Orlando, I know Bow is just saying that he feels that Orlando needs some help, which he probably does, because we don't know what he actually been through in this industry. And then also too, whenever you start telling truths or telling facts, people trying to shut you up. So we don't know what kind of threats. So we don't know. So yeah. So Orlando, just be careful. All right. Moving on. So let's move on to the internet is going off with reactions to Khalees' apparent new look. Now, Khalees, as y'all know, she brought that milkshake to the yard back in the day. But on Tuesday, April 29th, Khalees took to Instagram to share a reel with her more than 2 million followers. And you know what? And to me, that was kind of a little bit of shade with her more than 2 million followers. They're trying to say, all she got is 2 million. But anyway, now 2 million is a lot, but it was, I thought there was like a little undertone of shade in there. Anyway, in the clip, Khalees donned a blue, purple, and gold ankle-length poncho. Furthermore, Khalees hit viewers with a quick twirl and pose so that the camera could capture her gray hip-length cornrow braids. So I don't know if we have an actual picture of that with her gray hip-length cornrow braids, but here we go. Yeah, it is really Khalees. But look at her. Her face still looks beautiful, but you know what? Actually, a lot of actresses and I think even singers are actually rocking that like that color. So I think that Khalees is just staying true to trend. I've seen a lot of different actresses and singers, wearing that color. But as y'all know, social media, listen, they all got something to say. So let's see. So we go to Instagram. One user said, with her face, Khalees can do whatever she wants. Exactly. Face is looking beautiful. Another user said, this here is a woman who's embracing her age beautifully, because this generation is obsessed with looking 20. Baby, let go and let God. Another user said, she is so beautiful. While another Instagram person said, she looks beautiful, but I don't care for the braids. Okay, so yeah, she looks beautiful, but they don't care for the braids. Okay, well, you listen. You win some, you lose some. Another user said, she really just be living her best, natural, beautiful life, like I love her. With someone else saying, this may look strange to you guys, a woman who's dressed age appropriate. So it looks like, more people than not are, really, liking Khalees' new look. Like I said, like a lot of people are saying, she's beautiful. So, whenever you're beautiful, you can almost do anything. So Khalees, keep doing you. Listen, if they're not paying, for you to get your hair done, then don't worry about it. Okay. But like I said, more people than not are really liking it. All right. Now, next on the list, let's go down to Gigi Hadid makes Bradley Cooper relationship Instagram official with steamy kissing photo for her 30th birthday party. That's right, everybody. So if y'all remember back during last year around the summer, it was a lot of speculation of, were they dating? Were they not dating? Well, Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper have finally gone Instagram official. So it's definitely official. Now, the supermodel shared a series of photos from her 30th birthday party on Instagram Saturday, and amongst them was a photo of Hadid kissing Cooper. Now, in the semi picture, Hadid and the 50-year-old actor should be seen passionately kissing while standing behind her giant 3-tier chocolate birthday cake. Hadid cupped Cooper's face in her hands as they enjoyed the smooch. She said, I feel so lucky to be 30. I feel so lucky for every high and low, for all the lessons and gifts. Both have brought me to get to feel it all. I'm so lucky to be a mom, friend, partner, sister, daughter, colleague to some of the most unbelievable humans. Hadid's post comes 1 week after she and Cooper were pictured arriving at the April 25th party. So, he's 50, she's 30. I mean, in Hollywood, at this point, it's nothing new, but I don't know. It always seems, I don't know. I mean, that's a 20-year difference. Don't always have like a splash of cringiness to it. I don't know. But then again, listen, they're in Hollywood. They're Hollywood, whatever. That's them. And you are now drunk off the juice. All right, everybody. So once again, I do want to thank you. We got one more segment, which is I Am Answers Wildest Dream. But before I get into that, listen, once you look, I'm thanking everybody. I want to thank you for tuning in thus far. Also, those of you all who will tune in later at your convenience, that's fine. Also, be sure to always leave your comments, your offline or your online comments. I respect and I appreciate them all. So keep them coming, people. But right now, let's go ahead and get into the last segment of today's show, which is I Am My Ancestors' Wildest Dream. Let's go. Here we go. Tonight we honor a man whose imagination shaped generations, whose lens captured the world in ways no one ever had before, and whose journey from a bullied, misunderstood childhood to one of the most powerful and influential storytellers in the world is nothing short of extraordinary. Who is that, you may ask? Let's talk about it. Steven Spielberg. That's right. Born on December 18, 1946, in Cincinnati, Ohio, is the son of an electrical engineer and a concert pianist. Raised in a Jewish household, Spielberg faced anti-Semitism and bullying throughout his childhood. He struggled academically and somebody else do too, and was often viewed as an outsider. But even as a young boy, Spielberg turned to filmmaking to express himself, shooting short films with his father's 8mm camera and rallying his siblings to star in them. Oh, wow. That's interesting. That's not but like what I used to do, except for we were trying to sing. But anyway, back on Spielberg. Denied admission to USC's prestigious film school, Spielberg didn't give up. He found another way in, working as an unpaid intern at Universal Studios, where he impressed the execs by creating a short film that caught their attention. At just 22 years old, he became the youngest director ever to sign a long-term contract with a major studio. From there, the world will come to know his genius. His breakout film, Jaws, in 1975, became the first ever summer blockbuster. Yes. I remember Jaws. He followed with monumental classics like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., E.T., Raiders of the Lost Ark, and of course, one of my favorites, Jurassic Park, yes, and the deeply moving on Schindler's List, now which won him 2 Academy Awards for Best Picture and Best Director. Now, over the decades, Spielberg built a legacy not just a director, but as a producer, writer, and co-founder of DreamWorks Studios, helping launch the careers of others and bringing bold, diverse stories to the screen. His work spans fantasy, history, science fiction, and emotional drama, always returning to human connection at the heart of the story. Now, to date, Steven Spielberg has directed over 30 films, garnered 3 Academy Awards, 7 Golden Globes, 12 Emmys, and has honored with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, America's highest civilian award. Well, you go ahead on. I mean, your good grief. All right, through all of his success, Spielberg has never forgotten his roots. Now, that's important. He has spoken openly about his early struggles, his Jewish identity, and the importance of telling stories that matter. His foundational work and philanthropy have supported education, Holocaust remembrance, and the arts. Steven Spielberg is a living example of what can happen when vision meets perseverance. He represents the dream of so many who came before him, those who never had a voice, never got a chance, and never saw the screen reflect their struggles. Today, he is not only telling stories, he is the story. Proof that greatness can rise from adversity. So Steven Spielberg, you are your ancestors' wildest dream. There you have it. Wow. Yeah. Steven Spielberg and just so many other things. I think of like cartoons, that he's done. But yeah, Jurassic Park. Yeah, I'm a big dinosaur lover. So, Yeah. So thanks to Steven Spielberg. We got a lot of great movies, that we enjoyed today. So once again, hand claps, a round of applause for Steven Spielberg being his ancestors' wildest dreams. All right. Well, everybody, there you have it. Another Wednesday. We did it. Hopefully, I got you over the hump. Hopefully, hopefully, I gave you all something to think about, something to laugh about, something to share. Be sure to share the videos on. Actually, go to YouTube. Yeah, check me out on YouTube. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe to my YouTube because that way you'll be in the know whenever I drop new content. And let me tell you something. New content is definitely coming. Like I said, a lot of the Hebs event. I have, that coming up. Also, be sure to tune in next week and also the following week for the finale of season 8 because I will be showing more teasers of my Hebs experience. Just let you know, there were some celebrity event or some celebrity people such as K Michelle, singer K Michelle, Love and Hip Hop, Amara La Negra from Love and Hip Hop Miami. And also, if y'all remember the host of like BET Summit and other MTV shows, Jalissa B, and many, many more was there as well. So definitely be sure to tune in. I'll be dropping some more teasers next week and the week after for the finale of the show. Also, too, if you do want to support me, I'm going to drop all of my ways that you can support me right here down at the bottom. So definitely go ahead and hit your boy up. If you do enjoy the show, you want to support me, then here are ways that you can do just that. Also, too, definitely be sure to follow me on my social media. I do follow back. I do thank you for all of the recent followers that I had. Excuse me. I don't know where the burps come from. Anyway, all the recent followers that I had. Thank you so much for that. I'm definitely going to follow you back. I know that sometimes people do comment or leave me a DM. I'm going to check all of that. So, give me time, people. What else? Also, yeah, there you go. They're on it. Be sure to follow me on my website. After season 8, we're going to really delve back into the website, update a lot of pictures and things like that has happened during season 8 and things like that. So yeah, so the website will be having some new things added to it. Also, too, if you ever, because listen, I know it's springtime, the summer's coming up. If you need a great host for any of your red carpets or backyard events or barbecues, hello, Z-Fly is right here. So definitely go to my website and hit on services at the bottom of the page, and you'll see what services I offer. And listen, go ahead and book me. I would definitely bring the fun, entertainment, and flyness to your event. All right. But I think that's all I have, everybody. So once again, thank you again. Be sure to comment, leave your comments. I'll definitely be sure to check them out. And until next week, until next time, on Stay Fly. Get ready for a good show for next week. I got some surprises for next week. So get ready for that. Stay fly. Get ready for next week. Bye-bye.